So I'm starting a new series of videos called Redefining, and today I want to start off by redefining minimalism. Now, what is minimalism? Is it just getting rid of everything that you own? Not quite. As I said in my last video, minimalism is a really trendy topic right now. And you could be a fan of the Minimalists or of Machiavelli. Whoever you listen to online, they seem to be into this thing called minimalism. But what exactly is that? What's so great about being a minimalist anyway? Why does their life look so perfect? And it does kind of look perfect, right? Like me, when you think about minimalism, you probably think about having things bring you value or owning less things in a kind of Tyler Durden kind of the things you own end up owning you kind of way. Tyler Durden, the original minimalist. But the problem with minimalism and statements like that is they're kind of vague. How much is the right amount of stuff to get rid of? Surely everything I own brings me value. So to help clear all this up, I'm going to share with you one sentence that back in 2012, a professional organizer, whatever that is, Andrew Mellon said, which has really helped frame everything in a different light. So back in 2012, he said this: long after something has outlived its purpose or usefulness, we still hold on to it. Even after we've applied logic and reason to it, we still hold on to it. Why? Because of story. Now that word story is super important, and that I think is basically the reason that a lot of us hold on to and keep a lot of the things that we own probably longer than we should. So for example, how much do you think this lovely Haribo ring is worth? Not a lot. Am I going to eat it? Of course I am. Obviously, that's the story of what you do with a Haribo ring. I'm not exactly going to wear it for the rest of my life, am I? Now, what about my wedding ring? How much is this worth? Obviously, a lot more than I bought it for, in my mind, you know. Am I going to eat it? Probably shouldn't. Nope. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wear this ring for the rest of my life. Now, this is an obvious example because this is a high value item and this is a low value item, and this one's tasty. But what about everything that's in between? So good. If it still brings you joy and it still serves your purpose, keep it. But if not, what should you probably do? And you obviously don't need to always bin it. That's just the best B-roll I could find. You can recycle stuff, you can upcycle stuff, you can pass it on to a family member. Probably shouldn't do that too much because otherwise, after a while, what are they going to have to do? Now, I believe being a minimalist isn't just something that you suddenly just wake up and you are a minimalist. I think instead it takes months and often years to sort through everything that you own, every item that is yours, and work out the story behind each of it and whether you should keep it or not based on the story and if it actually still brings you value or not. Do you need to keep that birthday card from years ago? Probably not. It's already wished you a happy birthday. Do you need to keep that book that you read years ago and you're probably never going to read again? No. Okay, but what if it was like given to me by a family member and yeah, but you've already read it, and that is the important thing about a book. Not necessarily who gave it to you, I suppose. And that is how a minimalist thinks, but not always in a high voice. That's how minimalist thinks. They've spent time going through all their objects and working this stuff out. A byproduct of all that is that often they have less stuff and they seem to have a less cluttered life. But that's just the byproduct. They've spent time working out the story behind each of their objects, and they're often a lot less attached to their objects in terms of its story. So is minimalism just getting rid of everything that you own? No, not quite. It's getting rid of everything that you own, be it through all different ways we've talked about, which no longer brings you value, depending on the real story behind each object. And that helps us answer those first two questions. How much is the right amount of stuff to get rid of? Well, what you don't really need or use or value is the right amount of stuff to get rid of. Surely everything I own brings me value. No, everything you own brought you value, and there's a difference. And you should probably get rid of the stuff that still doesn't bring you value. And on the other side of that, you should be very careful to introduce new things into your life that long-term won't bring you value. And I think that's probably what minimalists are good at doing. Doing that stuff will usually leave you with less things and most likely a happy life. Anyway, we actually made it. I actually made another video a week after I said I would, so let's try again for next week. Oh, such a bad idea. Let's see how long this lasts. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all next week. Hopefully. Probably. Definitely. Okay, stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you next week. By the way, why is everyone so surprised that I've met up with Matt Diavella? And I'd just like to point out that he actually invited me out for lunch, not the other way around. Did I have to travel 500 miles for said lunch? Like the Scottish man that I am? Yes, I did, but that is besides the point.